It's not about being the first, but just know that once you are the first, people are going to expect something of you. I was the first in my family to probably have a computer, and now everybody thinks I work in goddamn IT. It's just I'm a millennial. Please note that any opinion expressed on this show is my own opinion and does not reflect the opinion of my employer or any organization that I'm associated with or affiliated with for that matter. Hey everyone, welcome back to a new season of A Sip with Samad. And of course, I'm your host, Samad. I'm really excited to have you all back. We've done a lot. We've been gone for a minute, but now we're back with a jump off. We were doing a lot of planning and figuring out how we can best format the show for the sake of making it a better listening experience and a better engagement experience for you all. And so I'm really excited about what we have in store. In this season, we're really going to tune into what are the conversations that men do not have? And how do we begin to start breaking some of those conversations down and sharing perspectives both individually and collectively? So this season, you'll have a little bit of me and you'll have a little bit of our friends. And through all that, we'll have some sharing of stories, insights, and perspectives. And I'm really looking forward to digging in. Before we dig in, let's go ahead and pour our cocktail for today, but I'm going to pour our cocktail in a different fashion. I want you to sit with something. And in this section of the show, we're going to call this the pour. And what I want you to sit with is the idea that being the first is not a moment. It's a condition. Think about that for a second while I pour my drink. I wish I could hear the effervescence that's coming off of this cocktail. All right, back to what I was saying. Being the first, it's a condition. It's not a moment. It's not something that you just give up. Once you're the firstborn, you're always the firstborn. Once you're the first to graduate from high school in your family, you will always be the first to graduate from high school in your family. Once you're the first to have children, you will always be the first to have children. That title doesn't go away, nor does the experience that comes along with it. And that's something we need to talk about. Hey, kings and queens and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of A Sip with Samad podcast. And I'm your host, Samad. Let's jump in. So I was thinking the other day, specifically just around the idea that I wear this hat. I wear many hats. I am the firstborn. I am the first grandchild. I am the first person in my family to go to college. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college. Actually, I'm not the first to go to college. I'm the first to graduate from college. I am also the first, I guess I was the first to come out. I was the first person, I guess the first same gender loving married person in my family. I'm the first with the child. There's so many different firsts. Like I'm the first with a doctoral degree. I realized there are so many firsts that I had. And this episode by far is not about like, ooh, look at him with all his firsts. It's not about that. What I really want to talk about and what I really want to dive into a bit more is the fact that once you achieve all these things, it doesn't stop there. Most people just think that you achieve it and, oh, that's it. They move on with life. But the reality is that when you're doing that, you're still reinventing yourself. When you're doing that, you're still figuring out who you are. And there is no blueprint for how you navigate this, right? I can recall when I went to college, my grandmother, she used to often say to me, like, oh, that sounds like a college thing, or that sounds like an issue that people had in college. And what she was really saying was that sounds like something that's beyond my level of experience. And so you had to figure it out on your own. And so now you spent much of your life navigating this space and trying to figure it out. And then once you achieve what you were supposed to achieve, now you're still trying to figure out how to navigate achieving life with this new thing. Case in point, I graduated from Morehouse in 2008. Now that experience through Morehouse was one of the roughest times. Oh, shout out to Morehouse. I didn't do that on purpose. I really didn't. But you all know I love watching my HBCU wear. But my experience through Morehouse, while it was a rich experience, and it was one of the best decisions I made in my life. I can recall graduation day, and I sat there and ugly cried. And I ugly cried before I even walked on the campus green, because I was able to take a sigh. I was able to take a sigh because I realized that I got through this tumultuous journey called college by myself, because there was nobody there with me. I had no relatives. I had no mentors. I was meeting people along the way and figuring the shit out. And so I was able to take a sigh. And then taking that sigh in that moment, I started crying. I can recall crying. And there were these two women, and they said, of course, because the aunties at the funeral are always going to come through with a tissue, because they were ready. And they gave me the tissue, and they said, "It's okay, baby, let it out." Because, they always want you to let it out. And I ugly cried. And that ugly cry was, like I said, a sigh of the experience that I went through to get to that point. But it was also a reality of, I don't know what to do now with this damn degree I have. What the hell am I supposed to do with a degree in psychology? And I can remember graduating from Morehouse and saying to myself, and I said, yes. What the hell are you about to do? I thought I was going to be a nurse practitioner. I remember seeing something saying go to law school. I can remember Alan was coming home from work, and I was like, babe, I think I got it. I'm going to nursing school, because I watched a show on Lifetime, an ER show on Lifetime. Or then I remember I said I was going to go to law school. I didn't know what I was going to do. And so that was equally as exhausting. So you realize, right, that you sat there and gone through all this to get this thing. And then all of a sudden, now you got to work hard to figure out what to do with it. That's always that's why being the first is a condition. It's not a moment. It's not something that you just because you're always going to be figuring out life now as the first to do this. And I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize it at all. And once again, the only reason why I came to terms with it was because I started to realize, I felt like I was wearing a weight, right? I felt like I was wearing a weight. Everybody was always, this started as a child. I can remember my great grandmother, Granny, Lord, R.I.P. Granny. Granny told me, "Oh, you'll be fine. You'll figure it out." Because I must have been showing signs of being the first. I was, like I said, I'm the oldest grandchild. I was a little boy who liked reading and dancing and the arts and all that stuff. So Granny was like, this is a good gay right here. He's going to figure it out. He's the first. He gonna do it. And while I did it, once again, it was exhausting. And it's exhausting then after. And so as I sip, I wonder why we don't talk about this enough. Right? I guess I believe, like I said, as being the first, there's always this expectation that you'll figure it out. But do we ever figure it out? Have we figured it out? I haven't figured it out. And I just always think that people do think I figured it out. That's the problem. Maybe I'm like a duck. They say ducks are calm above water, but underneath they're just paddling hard. Maybe I need to just show, maybe people who are the first should just show we ain't got shit together. We don't. But we make it look good. Let me just sit with this for a second. I think one thing that we also need to remember is sometimes when you're the first, especially as the first child, people kind of put these systems and beliefs and thoughts of how you're supposed to respond. I can remember as a kid, as a young kid, because I was the first, I don't know, maybe my mother was the firstborn. And so I was the firstborn. It's almost like you're being bred to be a certain type of way. I think about this often as well, particularly because of Avery, right? And Avery being the oldest and, or she will be the oldest. And so given that she will be the oldest, it's also like, am I now going to impart this idea on her that, she has to always have it together and she needs to know how to. I even caught myself one day when I was saying, somebody said, "Oh, wow, you're going to have girls like in the house." Like, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she needs to know how to run the house." And I didn't mean it like in a way of, "Oh, she need to know how to make sure she know how to cook and clean." I was thinking more of it like, yeah, we need a COO up in here, right? But I also was wondering, was I putting that on her because of the fact that she is the first? And maybe I am. Like, and maybe the expectation for the second child is like, oh, you can be just free and exploratory if you like, because we got somebody handling the operations part of the house. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that will be the case. I don't think that that's how my mind is, but I do wonder what sort of pressures my mother probably put on me because she was the first, and what pressures will I put on my child unknowingly because I'm the first. But I do think that it's something I've carried with me. I filled out the lunch forms. I filled out my financial aid forms. There were just expectations that you would do it. Even now, I'm the oldest of three boys, and my brothers call me now that my mother's deceased to ask me about where their damn birth certificate is. These men are over 30 years old. And they're asking me where their birth certificate is. Do I have a copy of their social security card? I bet you nobody's asking the baby this. I bet you nobody's asking the middle child this. These are once again weights that we put on each other. We put on our children. They're expectations because you are the first. If you are the first girl in the family, right? It could be three boys ahead of you. And then you're the first girl. Wait, now you got a new job. You didn't even sign up for it. It was given to you at birth. You're the first. At any rate, for all my firsts out there, I want you to know I see you. I feel you. I know you. And there's so many different firsts that you could be. So this episode is really for everybody who feels the weight of being the first. So for all my firsts out there are three things that I think we should share with people who aren't the first so they would know this. The first thing is that arrival does not necessarily guarantee orientation. Think about that. Just because we arrive doesn't mean we know what the hell we doing once we get here. I could get a Maserati tomorrow. I've been driving Honda Accords all my life. That's a lie. I drive a Rivian. Shout out to Rivian. I drive a Rivian, but let's say I go to a Maserati. I need to orient myself now with this new vehicle. It's not just a matter of me getting in and driving. I need to understand how this vehicle navigates, how it operates, how it handles. What's the torque? What's the horsepower? Does it go from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds? I won't know that until I experience this life. The same thing happens once you reach an accomplishment. Just because I have a bachelor's degree doesn't mean that I know what to do. So family, stop asking me. Just because I have a doctorate does not mean that I can solve all of you all's medical issues. So family, aunties, I don't want to know about your toe. That's a little dark and no, I'm not that type of doctor. It's not me. But I'm the first in my family, so obviously people think that I just know all the shit, right? So once again, just because you get there, it does not necessarily mean that you're automatically oriented to this new way of life. Just because you live in a neighborhood doesn't mean you know how to navigate the neighborhood as soon as you move in. Just because you get a new car doesn't mean you know how to navigate the car when you get in. We're still figuring it out. And nobody thinks about that, right? Nobody ever thinks about the fact that, damn, just as much energy as it took you to get there, it's going to take you as much energy to figure out how to survive in this new space because you're the first in it. The second thing that I want you to take away, and I want, once again, all my first to know, I see you, I feel you, is that Being the first means that you're in this constant state of transition. You're constantly learning. You're exhausted. We are exhausted. Why? Because while everybody else who has guidance on what it means to live in this space, we're still continuing to learn. It's like a constant cycle. Like I actually said to myself, no, people don't really, I call it the weight of being like the first, but it's a constant, like you're just always working while everybody else is relaxing. You're still figuring it out. You're still navigating. And I don't know if you ever do unnavigate. You're like, when do you stop navigating? When you're asleep? And even then, for me, I'm up strategizing in the middle of the night because I don't have a guide. I don't have any guides. I don't have a guide on what it's like. It's just simple things. Like, think about not having a guide on what it looks like to be married to being a male and being married to another male. I mean, when you think about it, like, I don't have a guide. I don't have a guide on what it means to be a male and married to another male and raising a child. There's no stories. There's no guides. I don't have an uncle. I don't have a grandpa. I don't have anybody who says this is how you navigate this particular space. And so every single day we're figuring it out. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I mean, childcare. Oh, that's exhausting enough. I mean, schools and finding schools that are safe spaces so that your child feels wanted and belongs. Like vacations, finding the spots that are vacation friendly. We were just talking about this the other day. Like, what are even LGBTQ friendly spots? Like, does that just mean a gay person stayed there? So you were the first gay to stay there. You helped pave the way. I mean, I'm joking about it now, but even still, I like, these are things that you have to think about that nobody really gives credit to. And while this is what my life is, once again, as being the first, I know that there's somebody out there who is experiencing this for themselves, right? It's the first top with other things. Maybe you were the firstborn and the first to get married, and maybe the first to move out of the house, maybe the first to move out of the state, maybe the first to get a degree. Once again, you're always working. And I want you to know I see you because I'm tired too. I am very tired. Third thing, if there's anything that I want you to remember about being the first and taking away from this, is that the real work for us is in sustaining this now moving forward. So once again, if you've grown up with examples, if you've grown up with guides or mentors or people around you who can tell you what navigating this life is like, that's great. For many of us, it's about staying in this space. It's about the fact that, hey, once again, yes, I have a bachelor's degree. I just have a degree, but I still need to figure out how to now make sense of this. You get a degree in psychology to do what? I'm still figuring it out. It's almost like when Debbie Allen said in Fame, if you want fame, fame costs, and this is where you start paying. It's after the fact. It's not once you get to the school and you dancing your life away. Now you got to perform. And it's going to get ugly because you're still figuring it out. And people expect you. People expect you to do well. You want to know why they expect you to do? Because they're going to be asking you for money. They're going to be like, I'm not even going to go there. We're not even going to talk about that. They just expect you to do well because they need you as a resource. How about that? That's a better way to put it. I didn't mean for that to be heavy. Once again, it was not to talk about the accolades of, oh, I was the first this, I was the first that. I really, really do think that we don't talk enough about what it's like to be the first and the weight that comes along with it. To be the first to experience something. It's almost like you have a secret and now you got to figure out how to take this secret and make it make sense for everybody else. And so the third and final thing that I want you all to remember, for those of you who are the first and for those of you who have experienced our first allies out there, the third thing that I want you to remember is getting there and getting to that space is where you do the real work. And it's really where you begin to ask yourself, like, damn, do I even want to do this anymore? And part of that is because of the fact that you spent much of your time unguided, figuring out life. And then you're like, well, do I really even want this? Now, I will say, I, once again, am the first in my family. I'm the first gay man to be married to a man. And do I want it? Yeah, I lucked up. I love the person I'm with. I wanted children, and I didn't have a guide for having children. I knew I was a nurturer. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. I'm the oldest grandchild. So that's something I wanted. I was the first. I had no guide. It's 10 out of 10 still. It's a shitty job, but I love it. But there are some things that I probably would go ahead and say we can go ahead and let that one go. And that's the part we don't really talk about as well, is that you do all this work to be the first. And then you're like, it probably wasn't even worth it. Ain't that some shit? At any rate, I want to switch gears. So we have a new segment of the show. As I mentioned previously, we are trying to add some new things to juice it up, spice it up a little bit, and so we have a new segment. And this new segment is called From Where I Sit. The producers of the show, they sourced a couple of questions as it relates to the topic. They reached out to a couple of you all who we follow or who follow us on social media. And a couple of you also put in some comments into our YouTube channel. We encourage you to put questions into the YouTube channel because the producers scour those to go ahead and figure out what to bring forward. And so these questions, which I've not seen, I just want to be clear, I will answer on the spot, honestly, openly, and candidly. And the goal is for you to learn a little bit more about me, but also to figure out, what the hell people want to know. And so I'm going to jump in. I just want to reiterate, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what this is going to be. I don't. We're going to go along on this together. Let's do it. You like this? I do too. Thank you. All right. Ooh, all right. First question. When did being the first stop feeling like an honor and start feeling heavy? I think for me, being the first was always an honor until I had to start defending other people. Right? So I can recall, I like being the older brother. That was that's who I am. I'm always going to be that. Right? But it was just like, wait, now I got to fight for him, or wait, he got to come along. It was always great, but I never wanted the attention of somebody always doing what I'm doing. I don't mind being the first, but I still want you to have your own identity. Don't do it because I'm doing it. Do it because you want to do it. That's when I felt like being the first became more heavy. Because it's no, I want to be able to do this on my own. Because what people also don't realize is that most of the time when you're the first, that means that you were probably doing it by yourself. Nobody else was doing it. Now you got somebody who want to do it with you. No, I didn't ask you to join me. My brother, I can remember when we were kids and I wanted to sing. That was my thing. And then my brother was like, oh, well, I want to sing too. You can't even sing. This is not your thing. And so that's when it became heavy. I can literally remember my brother's hand on my shoulder because, as a respectful gay, I walk fast. I don't know what it is. It's something that we do. We just walk we make haste when we walk. I can't tell you why. A friend of mine in high school actually pointed it out. She said gays seem to always walk fast. And I happen to agree with her. My brother happened to agree as well because he used to put his hand on my shoulder and hold on. And that's when it became heavy. When I realized that it was not about you just living and being exceptional for you, but you became exceptional. And now other people are doing it and they're not doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because they think that that's what life. Yeah, it's deep. It's deep. I was a deep kid. Next question. How did being the first change your relationship to your family and to home? You know, I think it just depends on what the first is, like what that first thing is that changes. I do think that, like, I know, I don't know if graduating college, what that did for my family. I do know that I can remember coming back home to Patterson and there was a guy at the store and he was like, damn, yo. And somebody I went to school with, I think his name was Alex. That's very plausible. It's Patterson, New Jersey. It's Jersey. The dude's name was Alex, and I was at the corner store because we still have corner stores, and he was like, "Damn, yo, don't be laughing at my Latino accent, okay?" But he was like, "Damn, yo, you got a degree and shit, and I'm sitting here with these kids and shit, yo." And I was like, "That's what's up, yo," and I didn't know what to say. And so I do think that it did make things different. I didn't want it to be different. Right. But I think that naturally it became different. I don't know. I know that it definitely became different amongst friends. Family, I'm sure it became different, but I can't tell you how, because I don't think nobody's ever communicated, because it's all based in love, right? Like, I think family is a little different because we gonna love you regardless, even if you smart and weird as hell. Like, we have family members who are weird and we love them anyway. They were the first in the family to be weird, so we love them. So I think we just deal differently. But I do know people who were like tangential or like friends or associates or affiliates growing up. Life became different that way. And I will say, even if so taking a degree aside, being the first to be married, now that took a beating on my relationships out, like friendships. And I still think now to this day, people only really want to be friends with me if they are with a partner. Okay, let's talk about this really quick. Okay, since we're talking about being the first, the number of people who hit me up and say, "Oh, you married?" And I'm like, yeah, we've been together, for a while, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, "Oh, I want to be married." Okay. Yeah. So do you have any single friends or anybody? So hey, I know y'all think just because I'm invested in my household. I have a whole toddler. I have a husband. So you just think I got a Rolodex of single people? Because y'all think just because we were first to get married, like we just sitting there, like do I look like I have room to be a matchmaker? No, but y'all think just because we got married, we do. Like we just, because we know that the tip is mind your damn business. The tip is stop trying to be like everybody else. The tip is, as the first, I realized there were no examples, so I'm not trying to be like nobody else. The tip is, once again, mind your business. Anyway, I forgot. I thought we were back into the show. I went way back into. All right. Next question. How has being the first affected the way you think about raising your own children? Oh, that's interesting. See, I told y'all I don't actually know these questions because I kind of touched on this earlier. I do think that wearing so many hats of the first, or I guess first hats, I don't know, to be honest with you, my first are important to me. They may not be important to everybody else. And so I think that at the end of the day, when it comes to how we raise our children, I do think that I encourage them to explore and be, you may be the first in this family to do it. And that's okay. So yeah, if you want to do it, do it. It's not about being the first. It's about, I think I would encourage them to just explore life. And I think that's how my family encouraged me. I mean, the reason why I might be the first is because they encouraged me to explore and to try and to do. And so I think if there's anything about my life and the number of firsts that I've had, I guess I would encourage my child, if that's what they want to do it. If they're going to be the first, then so be it. And if you're the second, the third, the fourth, hell, I mean, you do what you want to do. How about that? And that's how I think I want to raise our children. Do what it is that you want to do. It's not about being the first, but just know that once you are the first, people are going to expect something of you. People are going to expect that you will always, I was the first in my family to probably have a computer, and now everybody thinks I work in goddamn IT. It's just I'm a millennial. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. But those are the questions, y'all. Those are all the questions that I have in front of me. And I got through them. And so I'm proud of myself. I probably spent more time on them than I probably should have. But now you know a little bit more about me than you did or probably cared to know. But once again, the producers asked me to say this. Please go forward and add your questions to the YouTube channel and to the comment section so they can capture them and add them to future shows. On that note, though, I think we've done everything we were supposed to do today in this show. And so I will depart you. But before I do, I hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed having you here with us. If you could do me one favor, though, one favor. Subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't subscribed, or if you have subscribed, have a friend subscribe. But somehow, go ahead and subscribe. On that note, until next time, I'm out.